Hello, dear friend, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for February the 15th through the 21st. A couple of important and interesting astrology events are happening during this week. The great news is that Mercury will turn direct. It happens on Saturday, and I want to warn you that even though we are at the end of this challenging phase, this particular week, we might feel it even more intensely because Mercury is slowing down from the beginning of the week through the middle and towards the end, it stops. We know that before a planet turns direct, it's stationary, which means that after Saturday, when Mercury is turning direct, things can go back to normal, communication may improve. Of course, everyone will experience this influence differently depending on which house is transited by Mercury. But before this relief comes, there might be also some kind of delay or resistance or just things which are kind of slow and sometimes even complicated. So keep it in mind, especially the last few days, especially Friday, can be kind of complicated because of that. The other important news is that we have a square between Saturn and Uranus. This is a major event because this is one of those rare and special combinations. They happen once in a couple of years. This year it will happen for 3 times, but the point is that after that there will be at least 7 years until the next one. And Saturn and Uranus are two quite strong planets, but they are also really different and they might pull us in different directions because the aspect is challenging. Saturn is the planet which requires stability and structure and security. This is the old stuff, the stuff that we know, we are familiar with. On the other side, Uranus brings innovations, lack of stability, new things, but Uranus can also destroy the old structures. And this combination can feel a little complicated for us because we might be wondering, okay, what should I choose? Do I need to be really cautious? Do I need to take more risks? And usually the answer is somewhere in the middle. But of course, we have to check what's happening in your particular chart to be more specific. I would recommend you to watch your February monthly horoscope for your sign because I talk about each of those important events and specifically about Saturn and Uranus. There is a whole slide with a full explanation. So that will help you to understand more about your sign. And the other interesting transition this week is the ingression of the sun in Pisces. This will also change the overall atmosphere, bringing us more calmness, more peace, slowing us down a little bit, but also making us more creative and more intuitive and more open for our intuition. I think that this could be a very nice relief because recently there were a lot of planets in Aquarius, including a new moon there. And they are great, they are really powerful. It was a great time to start new things. But too much Aquarius energy can be too electrifying, making you nervous and restless and maybe even anxious or responding without thinking too much about it. So the Pisces energy can be like a nice calming energy for this, masculine, active, dynamic Aquarius energy. Now let's go through the days and see what we have in front of us. Monday is quite beneficial because the moon is in Aries with only positive aspects with Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Venus. The Aries moon is great for doing something, putting effort, feeling energetic and empowered, maybe rushing a little bit too much, maybe being a little bit more impatient, but overall, this is a productive position. And those positive aspects can support us in almost every area, in business, in finance, in relationships, in communication. As you can see, the day seems to be quite positive. On Tuesday, similar situation, but not exactly. The moon is still in Aries, so we have this dynamic masculine energy, which is great if you want to do something, if you want to be more productive. There is a sextile with the sun, which is also an amazing aspect. After all, the sun and the moon are the most important planets. So this combination is always supportive if you want to do something that will be noticed and appreciated. So that's supportive, that's bringing even more energy, even more impulse. But there is also a square with Pluto. And the square with Pluto can make us a little bit over dramatic. Maybe sometimes we may have some power struggles with other people. So keep it in mind that things may get a little bit more intense because of this combination. But overall, the day is not bad. And I think that it can be quite beneficial, especially for business activities. On Wednesday, we have this big event that I told you about in the beginning, the square between Saturn and Uranus. And this is the day with the most accentuated energy. What can I say? Well, it's not something that we should be fearful of. It's not something that, we should be kind of like really dramatic about. Just be wise. Try to do something different at the same time. Keep your feet on the ground. I think that that's actually a great metaphor, that your mind should be, in the sky, in the air, but your feet should always remain on the ground. I think that's a beautiful metaphor for this aspect. So allow yourself to be brave in your thoughts, in your vision, in your ideas. But before you take action, check out with reality. Is this really the best time? Or what do you need to change about it? Is this a really practical decision? So it's really like finding the balance between the earth and the sky. Okay, so this aspect is kind of challenging for business, for financial stuff. So be careful. It doesn't mean that nothing good can come out of this. But again, it's all about the balance. On the other side, Venus has a really calming, nice aspect with Neptune, which is great for relationships, which can help us to be a little bit more balanced emotionally, more creative, more inspired, and also to make some compromises, to find solutions that would be good for each side. And the moon in Taurus actually supports this calmness, this stability, this focus on practical things. It's quite interesting, actually, if you have noticed how sometimes, quite often actually, when we have a really important aspect, the moon somehow accentuates the same theme. For example, in this case, Saturn in Aquarius squares Uranus in Taurus, and the moon is in Taurus. So it triggers the aspect even more. On the other side, Taurus is a sign which is ruled by Venus. So it also accentuates the positive aspect between Venus and Neptune. Pay attention how often this is the case. Moving on to Thursday. Thursday is a very calm, very relaxing, very peaceful day. The sun is moving to Pisces, the most spiritual, the most mystical, the most intuitive sign. Obviously, this energy will be more available to us. It's a great time to take care of your emotional, spiritual well-being, to use your intuition, to be more creative. And the moon in Taurus is also very calming, but in a more practical, physical way. It's a great time to take care of your body, to have a nice but healthy meal, to maybe do some kind of meditation that will relax both your mind and your body as well. And this position is also great for focusing on some practical things, financial decisions, or anything else that requires more practical, more consistent attitude. Then on Friday, I'm reminding you that Mercury is stationary on this day because tomorrow on Saturday it will turn direct, which means be more careful with communication, with your schedule, with planning things, with the technology and all of that. On the other side, there is also a challenging aspect between Venus and Mars. Pretty interesting combination because Venus is ruling Mars in this situation. Mars is in Taurus, which is a sign that belongs to Venus, so to speak. And in this case, we may notice that we can confront more with other people, we can be more impatient, it's difficult to make compromises, it's difficult to be really nice even when you want to. And also in relationships, this may bring up some misunderstandings or jealousy and some really intense emotions. Financially, by the way, we may also be more impulsive. So be careful. Try to be kind to other people and yourself as well. And also think about the bigger meaning of things. Venus is the stronger planet in this combination, and Venus is in Aquarius. So if you can focus on the things which you idealize, the things that are really the most important for you, actually the aspect may have a much more positive impact for you. And the moon is in Taurus during early in the morning. This is more stable, more grounded, more practical energy, but also one which accentuates the Venus-Mars confrontation. And after 11 a.m., the moon is in Gemini, which can bring more variety, some new ideas, desire maybe to experiment with something. And for intellectual work, actually, this might be a good position. Just keep in mind, Mercury is really slow. So even those ideas maybe will go through some kind of changes later on. Overall, I would say the day is not really productive and not extremely beneficial. Then on Saturday, Mercury is finally turning direct in Aquarius. Again, I recommend you to watch your monthly horoscope to learn more about the specific life area which is triggered by Mercury. This is the area where things can improve, where things are moving forward, where you may find the answers, you may feel unstuck. Very powerful position because, as we said earlier, last week there was a new moon in Aquarius with 6 planets there. So pretty strong, intense flow of energy. Now with Mercury turning direct, it could be like a trigger, like a release for this energy. So specifically on Saturday, we need to be careful with all the Mercury communication technology stuff. But after that, things are improving. And the moon in Gemini confirms what I told you earlier, how very often when something important happens, somehow the moon is also pointing in the same direction. The moon is in Gemini, which is the sign ruled by Mercury. So lots of ideas, Communication can be more specific. Be careful with that, but also be open to reconsider something. There might be some insights that may come up even when you feel stuck or you just don't know what to do. So it's interesting, really. And Sunday, we end the week with a very nice aspect between Venus and Uranus. The interesting situation here is that we have something called mutual reception. Venus is in the sign which is normally ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is in the sign which is normally ruled by Venus. So it's like the planets have exchanged their positions. And this makes the connection actually much stronger, and it may work like a weak conjunction, meaning that there might be some exciting emotions, something surprising. You can be extra creative. It's a great time for a date or to surprise your partner or to do something that will help you to balance your emotions. Overall, it's a nice, positive, exciting energy. And with that, my friends, we finished our weekly forecast. I want to remind you that on my website, there are tons of free resources. If you want to learn more about astrology, go there, marsstars.net, check the links below. We have a free training on how to create a psychological profile with astrology. You will find the link also below. And yeah, I hope you are as excited as I am. Next week seems to be intense, but I think that this will also be like an important transitional period. Thank you so much again, and I will catch you next time.